Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to today's newspaper review. Let's now focus our attention on what's trending today. We begin this morning with the Matrix newspaper. On the Matrix newspaper, the lead page focuses on the presidency, Tinubu's infrastructure driving, reversing decades of negligence. The paper also highlights PFIPC scandal rages on. That's the rages is still on with the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. Rages are still on with this organization. And then the paper also highlights Nigeria's consumer credit falls to 3.8 trillion naira. First decline in 6 years. This is coming from the CBN. We are still in the Matrix newspaper. DSS slams fresh terrorism charges against convicted Ansaru members over Oyo school attacks. We have the next paper coming up is the Daily Trust. On the Daily Trust newspaper, the lead page says we are looking at the HOS report that he said that they did not approve Phantom Council without due diligence. That's in regards of the PFIPC scandal. Then we are also looking at Kaduna State, how a survivor reported that I begged my mother, father to flee. That's the people who killed the father. The victim had to beg them to flee. While in Yobe State, residents displaced as windstorm destroys houses in Yobe. Houses are being destroyed in Yobe State. Then we're also looking at human trafficking, fake jobs, social media lure young Nigerians. Thereafter, we'll be looking at the Daily Sun. On the Daily Sun newspaper, which shows report concerns on Catholic bishops open up on state of the nation. Catholic bishops have opened up on the state of the nation. Then the paper also spotlight 2027. Your votes will count. INEC assures Nigerians. That's coming from the INEC chairman, Amupitan. He's assuring Nigerians that our vote will also count. Then still in 2027 as well. This is coming from the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. That's the Rainbow Coalition leader. He says we are also campaigning with project delivery. The FCT minister says they are also campaigning with project delivery. Coming up next is the Vanguard newspaper. On the Vanguard newspaper, we are looking at the PFIPC. The HCSF says that we failed due diligence on recruitment waiver. Recall that there's some crisis between the PFIPC. The side Director General Adeyemi says that the government actually approved of this, and then the HCSF is saying that they failed to carry out their due diligence. And then we're also looking at a report from Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She says that Nigerians should feel the dividends of reforms. Then we also focus our attention on the Osun State government pool. Police nab SSG, 5 others over alleged vote buying. The full story is on page 13 of the newspaper. The Osun State governorship election. Police had to arrest SSG and 5 other people over alleged buying of votes. Then we are looking at the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, we focus on the opposition flags Tinubu's focus on re-election, loses confidence in INEC. The opposition party have lost confidence in INEC, and then they are also flags Tinubu's focus on the re-election. We really need to actually focus our attention on the INEC this time around come 2027. Still in the newspaper in Osun State as well, Amopitan meets stakeholders amid tension. Recall that in our previous paper we made mention that police actually nabbed SSG and 5 other people due to vote buying during the election. Now Amopitan has reacted taking a step to meet the stakeholders amid this tension. Then at the top of that newspaper, article accuses Tinubu of fiscal relentlessness, falls 12.62 trillion naira borrowing. You get the full story on page 3 of the newspaper. We move away from that newspaper to the Daily Independent. On the Daily Independent, it focuses on telecoms calling out states over gribbling operations lack. They dismiss telecom tariff hike over NCC cost study. Still in the same newspaper, we're also looking at Inspector General of Police cites court order for not producing fake PFIPC chief. Still in the same newspaper, agriculture grows 3.2%, defying security inflation woes. Then federal government arraigns man for allegedly funding ISWAP and Boko Haram. Then the federal government are saying that Dangote refinery key to Nigeria's $1 trillion economic target. That Dangote refinery is a key to Nigeria's $1 trillion economic target. You get the full story on page 1 of the newspaper. Coming up next is the New Telegraph. On the New Telegraph newspaper, we're looking at South Africa to Tinubu blame Igbo king, arrest of 500 criminal Nigerians for xenophobic attacks. This is coming from the South Africans to our president Tinubu, that they blame Igbo king and then the arrest of 500 criminal Nigerians for xenophobic attacks. At the top of the newspaper, FY25, CBN profits up 251.3% to 136.44 billion naira. Assets hit 138.86 trillion naira. You get the full story on page 3 of the newspaper. Then at the bottom of the newspaper, Inspector General of Police to the PFIPC, why we can't produce fake Director General for reps probe. Still in the same newspaper, tension mass stakeholders reform. INEC extends PVC collection. You get the full story on page 5 and 7 of the newspaper. Away from that newspaper to the Daily Monitor, which is our last paper for today. It focuses on a fake agency, no due diligence done in PFIPC document verification, says HOS. They have accepted that there was no due diligence that was done in the PFIPC document verification. Then looking at the same newspaper, DSS rearraigns convicted Ansaru commanders, others over alleged link to Oyo teachers' killings. Still in the same newspaper, Southern Kaduna killings. Horiwa warns terrorists must not derail fragile peace. At the bottom of the newspaper, Dangote refinery critical to Nigeria's $1 trillion economic vision, says the federal government. That's actually coming from the federal government of Nigeria. The last headline for this segment is on health. Federal government approves herbal medicines to cure illnesses. You get the full story on page 3 of the newspaper. The federal government has finally approved herbal medicines to cure illnesses. Many thanks for watching. For more updates, stay with us on News Express. I am Cassie Tony.